What's up everyone, the Big Brother 24 cast is finally here and we are here to break it all down and pick out our pre-season favourites and our not so pre-season favourites. We've got so much to talk about, so welcome to your Big Brother update. Now right before we get started, if you haven't already, I would appreciate it if you could hit that subscribe button. It's down there, just hit it. It takes 5 seconds folks, do it. And also hit the like button and the bell icon to get notified every single time a brand new upload goes live on the channel. Alright gang, without further ado, we will talk about the Big Brother 24 cast. We have 16 brand new players that are going to be heading in tomorrow night. Can you believe it? Tomorrow night. And speaking of tomorrow night, in regards to the premiere, stick around to the end of the video for a nice little surprise that I'm going to announce. So, first house guest, let's do it. I'm going to look at each of the... I've kind of like had a little look before I came on here, watched some videos as well of them talking, so I've got a bit of an idea of what's going on. But we'll just take a look at them one at a time. And these the profiles I'm looking at right now are from Parade and Mike Bloom's article, so thank you to him for putting that together for everybody. And we'll start with house guest number 1. This is Alyssa. You'll see her on the screen right now, and I'm going to take a look at what we're seeing when it comes to Alyssa. So, first things first, my first observation, this is the second Alyssa in 2 years. Also from Sarasota, Florida. Very strange. But here we go. Anyway, her occupation is marketing. She's a marketing rep. I've got a background in marketing, so that's pretty cool. Her age, 24. So we'll read a couple of lines from what she says. So, what's the best advice you received before coming out to play? Just to be myself. Going into the house, it's hard to not want to impress everyone or get along with everybody and go with the majority. But I'm just going to be myself and hope for the best. Now, unfortunately, on face value, and I know we shouldn't judge a book by its cover, on face value she screams the type of person that goes with the majority. I really hope she takes that advice and rolls with it. Do not vote with the house. Big Brother fans everywhere are pleading to these house guests, play for your own game. I put a tweet out earlier on Twitter. Might as well take this time to plug my Twitter up there, TV Talks with Tom. If you vote for that with the house, or you vote for the good of a group, or you nominate someone for the good of a group, I hope you are forgotten in Big Brother history. Do it for your own game, and then you can make it further. I love that she said that, but whether she'll stick to that, I don't know. I really hope that. That's kind of a good sign, though. I've got my fingers crossed that she's going to stick to it. And she says, what's something that other house guests may dislike about you? I talk a lot, so I may get on their nerves and start to annoy them after a while. Talking is good in the Big Brother house because you can build up a social game. However, talking too much can damage that. She's not screaming winner to me right now. If I'm being totally honest, my mind could be totally changed, but if I'm being totally honest, she screams somebody who is going to be potentially in a showman's. She'll end up in a majority alliance and vote with the house and not be anything special. But I hope I'm proven wrong. But anyway, that's Alyssa, our first house guest of Big Brother 24. House guest number 2 is Amira, and she is 31 from Westminster, Maryland, and her occupation is content designer. So, I've read through her profile real quick, and it seems like the word authentic continues to come up. Let's take a look into that. So, what's the best advice you've received on before coming out to play? Be yourself. It's okay to cry if you have to cry. It's okay when you want to celebrate. Just be yourself, be authentic, be genuine throughout the entire experience. And she also says, what types of player would you least want in your alliance? Get this, the two-timers, the people who are also in another alliance, but I'm not aware of it. I want people that are super dedicated to the alliance that we are in. They're playing for just one squad. They're not playing for two sides of the field. Again, I'm not impressed by that. I want people who are scheming and betraying alliances left, right and centre. Sticking to one alliance doesn't scream exciting to me. A little bit disappointing, but what I do like I said, folks, you can check all these full interviews out on parade.com. She seems to be very genuine, and that's what I like. I like genuine people. I like genuine people in real life, and I like genuine people in Big Brother. So that is the one thing that's shining for me right there. Her gameplay style isn't going kaboom to me right now. You know, I don't mean that in any disrespect. It's just an opinion. She seems like a lovely person. I'm looking forward to getting to know her. It's quite often we say these things pre-season and go, oh, this person's going to be rubbish or this person's going to be great, and it turns out to be the opposite. So I'm hoping to be proved wrong for this one as well. House guest number 3 is Brittany Hoops, and she is 32 from Atlanta, Georgia. and her current city is Austin, Texas. Her occupation is hypnotherapist, and I like this lady. I like her a lot. She is very, very genuine, and she's a fan of the game as well. I'm not going to go too into depth on her answers because she's basically said that she likes to talk, and talk she did in a lot of her answers. We've got big ass paragraphs. Definitely go check them out. But she talked about how she had a notebook of 40 plus pages of things she wants to do in the house. That is my kind of person, and I know that is a lot of you guys' kind of person as well. Excuse the bad grammar there. But she seems fun. She seems fun, and she's going to rely on that kind of persona of, being fun, a little bit bubbly, and like, oh no, she's cute, you know what I mean? She's not going to bring, an awful lot to the game when really she's going to be scheming and doing those 40 plus pages worth of Big Brother things in the house, which I just think is fantastic. So of the three so far, Brittany's given me the next, the best vibes. And also, speaking of Alyssa, like I said before, this is the second time we've had a Brittany in Big Brother. So 2 years in a row, an Alyssa and a Brittany. I don't know if that's going to mean they're going to come together because they'll bond over that, because we've seen people bond over things even, more obscure than that in Big Brother. So I wouldn't be surprised if those two come together. But fabulous vibes from Brittany. I like her a lot. Definitely my favourite of the three so far. Okay, now our first guy on the cast of Big Brother 24 is Daniel Durston. He's 35. He's from Ontario, California. His current city is Las Vegas, Nevada. And his occupation is a Vegas performer. More particularly, this is the thing that's shone out that people have been talking about. He was an ex-Elvis impersonator. I've got two things to say about that. One, amazing. Two, we may have opportunities to sing songs again this summer if we've got an Elvis impersonator in there. I've got good vibes from this Daniel guy, and I've been reading his answers of, who would he least like to have in his alliance, and he talks about, the big macho men who have to prove I'm a man and I'm going to pound my chest and I like fire and eating meat, Those kind of men in Big Brother are the worst. We talk about this year in, year out now at this point, and we watch those people dominate in comps, and they've got the personality of a brick wall, and, they don't bring anything to the house. They bring nothing to the house apart from degrading people, and we're quite often degrading people. I'm not saying they all are like that, but let's just cast our minds back to BB24 with Jackson, Mickey, and Jack. And, even I'd make an argument for people like Memphis and Cody, people who are... They're gifted at the fact they can win comps, but they're... entertainment value is below the floor. But we've got an ex-Elvis impersonator in there saying he doesn't like those kinds of people. That is only green flags to me. All the bells are going off. Ding, 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 ding. Fabulous. Love that so much. But he does seem like he's somebody who he doesn't like loud and obnoxious people. And you'd think with him being a Elvis impersonator, it would be quite the opposite. Him not liking loud people. But he's saying all the right things so far. Really good vibes from this guy. And he also gave a shout out to, for the Big Brother Canada fans out there, he gave a shout out to Kevin from the most recent season of Big Brother Canada, who was 100% the best player of the season and one of the best players I've ever seen of Big Brother. He gave a shout out to him. Again, another green flag. Fabulous stuff. Can't wait to see Daniel in the house. Now, we don't have much to say about this next one because our answers weren't that long, but this is Indy. This is Indy Santos. She's 31, from Sao Paulo, Brazil, and she currently lives in Los Angeles in California, and her occupation is corporate flight attendant, and she is the classic feisty personality. Whether she actually brings that to the table, I do not know, because we have so many people coming in every single year claiming that they're going to be that person, and then they fall into the background and essentially become as useful as the sofa. So... Indy says that she is a very straightforward person. That's another one that people like to say when they are feisty. I'm very straightforward and they might not like my personality, and then they just end up in a showmance and don't even play for themselves. I hope that is not the case. I am being very cynical because of the fact that 9 times out of 10 in Big Brother, that kind of thing does happen. So I'm managing expectations right now, but I'm also trying to balance out and go, hey, I'm hoping this is going to happen. So that's if she's feisty like Janelle and actually tells it like it is and, doesn't mince her words. Brilliant. That's another brilliant addition to the cast, and I can't wait for that. But she says that they may dislike my personality. I'm straightforward and I know what they want. I know what I'm here for. That might sound a little rash for them. But yeah, she's resident feisty person. I am hoping she brings that to the table. That's Indy, folks. Next up, we've got Jasmine Davis, who is 29, and she's from Terry, Mississippi. And her current city is Atlanta, Georgia. Occupation, entrepreneur. Now, the first thing that came to mind when I was watching her on the video, she's very, very southern, and she's 100%, she's got that southern charm. She gives me vibes, and cast your minds back. This is for my old school BB fans here. Remember Big Brother 3? Does anyone remember Amy? Amy, who was bouncing off the walls, and she just did not give a hoot what anyone said, and she was outspoken, and she was just amazing. She was. Don't get me wrong, the majority of that cast was amazing, but whilst Amy wasn't the best player, she stood by her ground, and she didn't let anyone push her around. She didn't, get roped into voting anyway. She would just do her own thing, and that's what made her so amazing. She reminds me of Amy. I feel like I'm doing an Amy assessment right now, but Jasmine gives me Amy vibes. If she's anything like that, we're in for a treat, folks. But anyway, she says, what do you think people will perceive you as? And she says a ditzy Southern belle or a country hillbilly. Again, it's the Amy vibe she'll be relying on, which is fantastic. Which types of players would you least want in your alliance? Jocks. I want to partner with the underdog so we can overtake the house. What did Amy do? She partnered up with Marcellus and tried to take over the entire house. I'm telling you, folks, this is Amy. This is Amy reincarnated, even though Amy's still alive. She is one to watch. Really, really excited to see her play. Really hoping she's going to bring the Big Brother 3 Amy vibes. Alright, folks, now the first bro we are probably going to be talking about today, and this is Joe Pucciarelli. So we'll probably end up calling him Pooch, just like former names like Mike Buggy and Rockstar, and those kind of nicknames, Cowboy, all those sort of things. So anyway, he's 24, he's from Staten Island, New York. His current city is Boca Raton, Florida, and his occupation, assistant football coach. Immediately, I'm getting Cody vibes from that. However, the thing that redeemed him was when I was watching his video, he talked about how he had been watching Big Brother since middle school. So he's not a new fan. I can confirm this guy who you would probably look at and go, he only started watching Big Brother while he was in sequester, has indeed been watching it since middle school. So that's a nice little redemption thing there. And it's hard for me to root for the assistant football coach, because those kind of people every single time without fail just get into a showmance and the group the most boring people in the house together, like it's Love Island, and they say, let's take out all these interesting people who've got stories, let's take out all these people who don't fit into the social norm, and I can't really stand people like that. So I'm hoping he's not going to be like that. As I said, the fact that he's been watching Big Brother for a long time might make up for it, but I don't know. It's difficult for me to praise this guy just because of Big Brother past. But of course, we have to be open and see where this is kind of going to go. But he is, I don't know. He just seems like the football guy who's going to end up in a showmance. Not my favourite person on the cast, but hey, let's give Pooch a chance. Next up, we've got Kyle Capner, and he is somebody who is potentially going to be a bro, but I get a lot of better vibes from him than I did with Pooch. In fact, I actually took to Twitter, before I'd looked into the cast too much, and I put him in my top 4. I'm sure that's going to change over the next 24 hours, and that's crazy. This is the fact as well, that's another point to keep in mind as well. We usually get the cast 1 or 2 weeks before, and we're sat going, looking at our watch, and it's going, when's it going to happen? When's Big Brother starting? And it's tomorrow. It is tomorrow. How amazing is that, folks? Let's just take a moment and breathe the air in and go, Big Brother begins tomorrow. Our summer is about to get taken over by Big Brother, and I could not be happier. But anyway, let's talk about Kyle before we get too excited. So he's 29. He's from Bountiful, Utah. His occupation is unemployed, and I don't know. I just get good vibes from him. It's weird, And he says that the best advice he's received has got to be from his mom. She said, just be yourself. Everybody else has already taken. So going into the Big Brother house, I'm just going to be as genuine, as nice, and as goofy as possible. Now, the fact he says goofy isn't necessarily something a typical bro or jock would go on like, so that's good vibes. As well, he's taking advice from his mum. I mean, that's cool. That's sweet. I like that a lot, so that's awesome. And he says, what do you think people will perceive you as? I think people, when they first see me, they're going to see me as this 6'3" Ken doll looking guy. Now, I don't have the Ken doll looks, but I'm also in the 6'3", 6'4" club, so I can relate to that. And I vibe with it because I would imagine going at the house. I'm not like somebody who I don't look like Jackson Mickey or whatever. I don't look like dead muscly or anything. But being tall, people look at you and they kind of go, they're going to win some comps. So you need to kind of balance that thing out with the whole goofy thing, which I kind of like that he's doing that. And he doesn't seem to be kind of laying into the whole just goofy thing a lot. I think he's probably going to take the family angle with, the fact he mentioned his mum there. I just, that's another thing that's probably going to bring him back down to earth a little bit more, which I like a lot. But he says they might think I'm a dumb blonde, but hopefully as they get to know me, they realise I'm a genuine guy who wants to play the game of Big Brother. And he doesn't like type A dominant personalities, which is always a good thing as well. I like those kind of personalities in week one of Big Brother, so it stirs crap up. So yeah, I don't know, but good vibes from this guy. I think he's probably one of the most mysterious people that we're going to have to see a little bit more from until I fully make my mind up. But as of now, he's in my good books. Alright folks, Marvin is our next house guest. This is Marvin, and I really hope I'm pronouncing his surname correctly. Aki or Achi. I really hope I've done that correct. I'll clarify it. It's A-C-H-I. He is 28 years old. His hometown is Rivers State, Nigeria, which is really, really cool. And his current city is Houston, Texas. Occupation, chemical processing engineer. So not necessarily something that's going to apply to the game Big Brother, I don't think. But he's done well for himself. You know, doing that at 28. Go him. Fantastic news. And he also brought his mom into the conversation as well. He said, I feel like I'm a good person and my family knows that about me as well, and my mum told me to remain that person. That's awesome, bringing the family values in. Love it. And this is the line I'm going to hone in on with Marvin. So on eviction night, would you rather flip the votes against the house to help your individual game, or go with the house to help your overall alliance? Yes, there is a correct answer to that. If anybody answers the answer I don't like, I'm not going to be rooting for them. So he says it basically depends on everything going on in the Big Brother house. When I go in there, I'm going to flip the game however I need to benefit my overall game. That gets 2 thumbs up from me. So if that means flipping the game towards my alliance, nope, don't like that. It's you you're talking about, Marvin, not your alliance. That's what I'm going to do. And if that means flipping the game to favour my game, that's what I'm going to do. So whatever really favours my game. He didn't really answer that properly, did he? He kind of said, like, you know, look, whatever's going on in the house, we might flip it, we might not. There was just maybes and mights, and I don't like that. If he sticks to that one point where he pinpointed for his game, I'll love it. If he does it for his alliance, go do one. I hope you've forgotten in the Big Brother history books. But if he does the opposite, you know, and actually does it for his game, he's going to be somebody I'm rooting for. Alright folks, so while this clip is actually in the middle of this video, I have had to film it afterwards as I just saw some news about this person. So the original clip where I talked about this person has been cut, and now I'm updating it with the relevant information. So Matt is our next house guest, and there has been some news that's came up on Twitter from his sister, and she has basically kind of said, because I don't want to get too deep into this, as obviously it's not my business, but it's kind of became public knowledge now, the fact people are talking about it all online. Yeah, so she's basically said that she's just found out that her brother has been cast on Big Brother, her younger brother, and she is basically saying that he had bullied her for her entire life, and she's basically saying that he manipulates. I'll read this. She says, manipulated my mother into kicking me out when he didn't actually even need to be there. He has given me horrible, crippling anxiety from the way he has treated me and given me panic attacks that still haunt me to this day. He's an absolute trash person and says the N-word on the regular. So this ain't looking good, folks. This ain't looking good at all. And yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to delve into this one too much and not give him the time of day, because that ain't looking too good right now. I would imagine CBS might do something before the show starts. That's just scratching the surface as well on what was said there. You can find it on Twitter, but that's Matt. Alright, now this guy is potentially on my top 2 or top 3. This is Michael Bruner. He's 28 from St. Michael, Minnesota. He now lives in Rochester, Minnesota, and his occupation is an attorney. Xavier won the game last year as an attorney, so there's one green flag already. And also, this guy loves the game of Big Brother. I was watching the video and they were saying, who's your favourite? And he just kept going on and on about all these different house guests, and I was thinking, this is amazing. Like, this is what I'd be doing, and I'm getting good vibes from this guy all over. He's also tall. He's 6'4", so he's up here with me, and he is a Big Brother nerd, just like I am. So I'm getting really fantastic vibes from this guy, and he even talks about how he is not going to come across like a musclehead, even though he's 6'4", and I don't really think he likes the musclehead kind of peoples. And again, that's another green flag for me. I love it. All good vibes. Do you know what? Overall, so far, I am loving this cast. I really am, because it doesn't seem like there's a huge opportunity for like 6 or 7 jocks or models to get together and run the game, because that is the worst when that happens. So when we've got more people in the house who aren't like that, it makes a more fluid game. If anybody saw Big Brother Canada 10 here, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Literally up until the final 3, until you got to the final 2, we were confused as to what was going to happen. And even then, it was amazing. It was just amazing every single week tuning in and going, what's going to happen here? What's going to happen next? And that's hopefully what we're going to get with Big Brother 24. And judging by the cast so far, it might be looking good. Okay, now our next house guest, and this is obviously only my opinion. Everybody's got an opinion, and this is probably my least favourite person of the cast. Not on a personal level, I'm not dogging their personality at all, but as a Big Brother player, this is my ideal worst nightmare of a house guest. So this is Monty Taylor. He's 27 from Bear, Delaware, and he's a personal trainer. Strike one. He is somebody who is probably going to just comp beast his way through it, and he says, just based off my looks and energy, people are probably going to think all I do is go and work out all day. Well, that's what you tend to do when you're a personal trainer, so strike two. On strike three, he says that I tend not to get into any drama or entertain a lot of that stuff. Strike three, you're out. I'm sure he's going to make it far, because that's what happens in modern day Big Brother. We get boring players like that who've got... I could be totally wrong, he might have a personality, but it's like... Remember X from last year? Like, yes, he was a good winner and he was dominant, but God, he was boring. He was so boring. And I hope we don't get that with Monty as well. Obviously, there's a difference, because obviously Xavier was a lawyer or an attorney, and Monty is a personal trainer. Xavier is higher up in my books from that, because of the fact that the personal trainer, it's the fact he's testing against the fact... I can't even get my words out, because I'm getting quite like riled up at the fact, thinking this person's going to make it far. But he talks about the fact he's a personal trainer and says all people are going to think I'm going to do is go work out all day. That's literally what personal trainers do. Well, they do other things, but come on. I sound like I'm on a rant right now, but I mean, I don't know. I'm just not getting good vibes from this, guys. He says then on one answer as well, I'd rather go with the house to help my overall alliance. Again, this is just my worst nightmare of a Big Brother player. Monty gets a big fat cross from me. Again, I hope I'm proven wrong. Next up, we've got Nicole Leog, and she's 41. Let's hope that we are going to get a more positive Nicole this time round. Obviously, Nicole Anthony was a lovely, lovely lady, and Nicole Franzel, on the other hand, was not. So let's hope we have someone who follows in the footsteps of Nicole Anthony as a good Nicole. I feel like 9 times out of 10, Nicoles are always popular in Big Brother. Even remember Nicole from Big Brother 2. Whether or not they're popular, they're always very... They are somebody who makes it far, and somebody who is a big personality in the season. So, hey, if we're following trend here, then this is Nicole Leog, who's 41 from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and she's a private chef. I believe as well she was an ex-cop from what I've read, so that's going to be interesting. And as well, finally, more people over 40. This is amazing news. She is obviously going to have some life experience which she can bring to the house, so definitely she's one of my favourites at the moment, and she seems like she's going to have, for a good chunk of the game, very alliance oriented, and then she goes into kind of self-survival mode later in the game, which is also what I like to hear. I'm just hoping that the alliance-based part of her game isn't boring. Fingers crossed for that, but overall everything's looking pretty good for Nicole. Okay, now for another one of my least favourite house guests. We've got Paloma. I believe her surname is Aguilar. I hope I've pronounced that correctly. Sorry if I have not. But she is 22, so she's only 2 years older than me. And her hometown, current city, is San Marcos, California. And her occupation is interior designer. So she says that, she's going to come across as the ditzy person, and she tends to say stupid stuff. But I've got a brain. This is a tale as old as time, folks. And again, I hope I am proven wrong. I feel like that's all I'm saying in this video, but it's all the cliches that we're getting. And I am just bringing myself down to the ground floor and kind of going, let's manage expectations right now. I'm just reading through it right now, even as I'm looking at the camera. And another thing that I don't like is on that question where it's, would you flip the house or go with the house? And she says, I'm definitely a team player. I would go with the overall house. That is translation to most Big Brother fans. I'm a coward and don't have a brain of my own in this game, so I'm going to go with the house. Boo! 2 thumbs down. Do not like that. I will not be rooting for Paloma if that is her style of play. It's boring, it's unjustified and ridiculous, and I'm going to say it again. It's boring. B-O-R-I-N-G, capital, with an exclamation point at the end, period, end of story. Enough said on Paloma. All right, folks, now on the opposite end of things, we've got Taylor Hale, who's 27. She's from West Bloomfield, Michigan, and she's a personal stylist. And she says that when it comes down to, flipping the house or sticking with her alliance, she says it depends on what point of the game. If we're talking early on, I think I wouldn't be afraid of flipping the vote on the house. That's what we want to hear, especially the fact she said it's early on. Don't be afraid of it. If on week one you feel, hang on, I think the person that is sat opposite the person that's been planning on going home is the person I need to keep, do it. Do it. Because in 4 weeks' time, when all your alliance members are gone in the pre-jury and the jocks and the models have taken control, you'll be sat there going, oh my god, this is so hard, I can't do this, oh my god, I'm so emotional. It's your own damn fault. You had a move when there was 5 more people to get on your side 5 weeks ago to get the other person out. Do it. Don't regret it. Stop playing for the house. Thank you, Taylor, for speaking up on that. And I watched her in the video as well for Us Weekly from Sharon Tharp, and she likes Danielle Reyes. Again, another green flag. Danielle Reyes is the best to never win, in my opinion. Only OG Big Brother fans will remember Danielle Reyes way back from Big Brother 3 and Big Brother 7 All-Stars 1, the only truly All-Stars season. And to hear her name get acknowledged is absolutely wonderful. So I'm getting a lot of green flags from Taylor, and I'm looking forward to seeing her play. Okay, now here we have Terrence Higgins. He is our oldest house guest this year at the age of 47. When I saw that we finally have somebody who's nearly bordering 50, I jumped for joy. I would hope by now that, those of you who've been with me for a few years would know that I love the older house guest always, and always rooting for them. So Terrence is my guy this year. He's my number one favourite so far. So he's 47. He's from Chicago, Illinois, and he's a bus operator. Immediately, that was fantastic news to me because he's obviously going to be very social when you work in that kind of business, whether you're an Uber driver, a taxi driver, a bus driver, train person, whatever, I don't know. But either way, if you're going to work in that industry, you are going to deal with a lot of different personalities that are getting on and off the bus and causing havoc on the bus, and maybe being very pleasant on the bus. There's going to be all sorts of different people, as is the Big Brother house, and he gives good vibes. He doesn't seem like a relic or like somebody who's not with the times or archaic. I was watching him on a video and he had this cool Hawaiian shirt on, so he was I like his vibes immediately. He's fantastic, and I'm getting strong kind of he's going to be the father figure of the house, which I just think is brilliant. He's going to be telling the stories to people. He's going to be making everybody laugh. And probably when people are down, cheering them up with advice. Definitely my favourite person of the cast. I just love the fact that they're bringing all these people who are in their early 20s. And sometimes they do bring something to the table, but more often than not, they don't bring anything and they come across incredibly boring. So finally someone with a bit of life experience and somebody who actually seems incredibly entertaining and like they're going to bring some substance to the game. So I can't wait to see Terrence play. That is all of your Big Brother updates for today, folks. Now, if you did stick around till the end, like I said at the start, for this little surprise, I will be going live before premiere night tomorrow night, 1 hour before the show. Come hang with me. We'll have a little pre-premiere party. It's going to be lots and lots of fun. We'll do Q&A and just talk about what's to come with the season. We'll talk about the house guests and just have a good old time. So come along, folks. Pour yourself a nice drink and join me 1 hour before the show tomorrow. I'll get that up there and you can set a notification so you'll get reminded when it comes on. But folks, thank you so much for watching. I'd love to hear everybody's thoughts. Who's your favourite house guest? Who are you getting good vibes from? Who's the first boot? Who's going to be the first HOH? There's just so much to talk about, so let me know in the comment section below. As I said in my previous video, it's absolutely wonderful to be back. I am so happy. We've got a summer ahead of us with strategy, competition, fight, drama, you name it. It's Big Brother and I am very excited for it. But folks, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you're staying safe, staying happy and staying healthy out there, and remember to be kind to one another. But in the meantime, please don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe, do all of that good stuff. But until your next Big Brother update, I've been your host, Tom Vasey. Good night.